What's going on, you the tube? I am HOTMESS MUA, otherwise known as Vanessa, and today we are talking about the new Taylor bundle from Sydney Grace Co. I know I've got this organized a little strangely, but this bundle is a little bit different. It was curated by three sisters, the Taylor sisters, and they all had their input on what shades to use. They're between the ages of 16 and I think 21, 24, something like that. So the shades were created to be very beginner friendly, and you know, that's what explained why they're neutral type shades with pops of color. They all have to do with the girls' personalities. Like the blue is in there because one of the girls' fiance, I believe, is in the Navy. So it all has emotional meaning. I don't know a lot about the girls. I don't follow them, but I do love Sydney Grace. You guys know that. I have been adamant about getting as many of their new releases as possible. I did miss the last release, which was around Valentine's Day. The colors are right up my alley, but you can't always buy everything. Sometimes you got to put the brakes on. But this bundle is interesting because there are a couple options. There's the lighter version, which would be these top 4 shades and all of these, or a deeper version for deeper skin tones, which would be these 4 shades and then these. Or you could buy them all, which is what I did. So that will be linked down below, the bundles and prices. I believe it was like $42 if you got a lighter or deeper, and maybe $50 if you got the entire collection, all 16. I like to play with the deeper shades, so it was a no-brainer for me, but I'm sure it can be very frustrating if you're a person of color and you're like, I don't need that. I'll never use it. I don't need that. I'll never use it. They won't show up on my skin tone, or they'll look ashy or muddy. So that's why some of these deeper shades were created so they could get a true transition color if you're of deeper skin tone. So it made a lot of sense that they did that, and I love that they did that. And I can use all of them. So I also appreciate that as a consumer. I can go light and deep. So I'm going to have a demo using most of the products, and we'll do swatches and all of that kind of fun stuff as we do here. And I feel through using these over the past week that these stay true to Sydney Grace formula. Their colors are pigmented and bold, and I think that's why so many people love this brand so much. So we're just gonna go on through and show the shades. So this first one is Bailey's Bliss, and it is from the Fair bundle. It is in my inner corner. It's a really fun duochrome and has that white kind of glow to it, and then you put it on the skin and it becomes something totally different. So this is Bailey's Bliss. The next shade is also from the Fair bundle. It is called Blondie. I have this on the lid mixed with some of the others. So that is Blondie. Sydney Grace, you can foil the shades, but you don't have to. That's the beauty of them. They're so smooth. This is also a drier formula in the sense of it doesn't kick up a lot of powder. That doesn't ever bother me, but it is what it is. This is Kissable. It is also from the Fair bundle, and I use this shade in my transition, and that is Kissable. And I started with this shade today in the look, and this is called Cocoa Cream, and it is the last shade in the Fair bundle. And it is like it's a neutral shade, like a skin tone kind of color, but it has that pinky undertone to it, almost a cool tone. And when you build it up, it can go deeper, and I like that.
Turn that light back on.
Aslan and your Grace.
So these are the 4 shades from the light bundle. Okay, the first shade in the deep bundle is Spring Fling. And we're gonna show you like the side by side so you can see, you know, one version versus the other. So this is Spring Fling. And you can see they're similar, but in tone. Similar in tone, but obviously one is best suited for, you know, an inner corner if you were a person of color. This shade is from the Deep collection and it's called Just Peachy. There is Just Peachy. You can see next to the lighter version. Here's the shade Sun Poisoning, and that is Sun Poisoning. I don't know, would they be considered in tonage? I think I lost the tonage here. Maybe it was just the shimmers and then go into transition, not really sure. This one is called Porch Swing from the Deep collection. Wow. And I barely tapped into that one. And that I have hugged in my lash line, a little bit in the inner corner or lower lash line. Outer corner and lower lash line is Porch Swing. And now we're gonna get on with the rest of the shadows that come in both bundles. Like if you order either or, all these shades will be included. I should have primed so they don't oxidize. That's one thing that I've been noticing lately. When I put on a primer and a powder over it, then I don't get any of the oxidation from my oils in my hands. Sometimes that happens, especially with really pigmented eyeshadows. You'll see that and you're like, oh, that's not the shadow, that's my personal bad. I didn't do it for this one, so I apologize. I will do it for the actual up-close swatches, okay? So this is Dusty Trails, and it is a great creamy looking matte. Love this one. This one's called Adore Me. And the thing with Sydney Grace, that's Adore Me, I don't have to like roll my finger in, push it over. They just, I don't know what kind of magic that they have in their shadows, but it is magic. This one is called Backroads. There's the shade Backroads. Here is the navy called Indian Love. Wow, that is a beautiful blue. Indian Love, and I hugged that really close to my lower lash line. Oh no. Well, I just dug my finger in this one. This one is called Sweater Weather. And this one is a satin formula, but the thing I like about Sydney Grace satins is that you can blend them down almost to matte-like consistency. Like this would be the kind of shade that I wouldn't be afraid to put in my crease. And most of the time I'm like not really all about that because shimmery kind of shades in the crease can emphasize texture just like a highlighter can. But hers, I feel confident using them in the crease. They blend well with each other, really nice. The next one is called Tiara. Oh, and this is a beautiful taupe. And the undertones in it are just really cool. It's got like gold and I mean, that's just a really, really pretty color. I could see using all the browns and then this. Whew.
Do a spotlight eye with one of the lighter shades.
This one is called Haley's Haze. And it's like a copper with kind of a rose peach, kind of orange undertone to it. It's just fun. And I almost ended up putting this one on my lid today. This one is called Shaylee's Shimmer. Try saying that anytime more than once. And that is Shaylee's Shimmer. That would be awesome with the blue, don't you think? I mean, the combos of things that you can do is just really incredible. And I know that some people might not be all about these because they are kind of neutrals. And there's this phenomenon going on where there's neutrals with a pop of color. But I feel like these colors are universal yet different enough. They're different enough to give you some variety in what you're doing and experiment. I mean, I'm seeing pink tones and cool tones and just a lot of fun. I'm really impressed with the bundle. I don't regret buying it. I absolutely would suggest it to anyone that wants to expand. And the other thing is I feel like lately within the makeup community, there's almost like spending money shaming, buying new products shaming. I mean, and I'm the first one to do. I have my series where I do new makeup releases and I talk about things that I'm not gonna buy and reasons for it. I'm all about anti-hauls. I'm all about people saying, no, I'm not going to just buy. But the one reason why I support indies so strongly is I am helping a real human grow in their lives. I am putting my money into another family or families, because Sydney Grace Co. is run by sisters who have daughters and families, and every time I make a purchase, I am improving their life. I am helping their business grow. So I'm seeing a lot of, I don't want this to be taken in a wrong way, but I'm seeing a lot of people being praised for not buying lately on YouTube. And while I agree, don't spend money if you can't afford it. I'm the queen of that. There's some things it's like, no, you shouldn't be buying. And you don't have to just get. But I am totally 100% behind supporting brands like Luxie, Davina, and Sydney Grace, because they are real humans that put their hearts and souls into products. And when I touch these, I feel that. I'm gonna get emotional. I feel the love, because this is why I love makeup. And every time I buy indie makeup and I do this and I feel it and I touch it, it just makes me feel a certain way. It's not very often that I pick up a Tarte palette. Well, I have one Tarte palette, but you know what I'm saying. Where you pick up those other palettes and the packaging is gorgeous, but it doesn't make me feel a certain way. And that's definitely how I feel with this. So price points and all that will be down below. If you'd like to see the brush swatches and finger swatches up close, you can check that out here.
The first shade is Bailey's Bliss, then Blondie, Kissable, and Cocoa Cream. I believe that they swatch nicely with the brush, some of them a little bit better with the finger. Next we go into the darker ones. You've got Spring Fling, Just Peachy, Sun Poisoning, and Porch Swing. Porch Swing is incredibly pigmented, but I love the shimmers just as much in this collection. Now moving on to the shades that are in both bundles. Oh, I'm sorry, these are all the lights and the darks. Now both bundles is Dusty Trails, Adore Me, Backroads, Indian Love, and they swatch very nicely as well. Then we go into the shimmers. We've got Sweater Weather, Tiara, Haley's Haze, and Shaylee's Shimmer. Tiara needed a little work with, no, not Tiara, it was Haley's Haze needed a little bit, I think it goes better with the finger. And that's all of the shades that come in both bundles.
If you'd like to see how I created this look and a whole demo using the products from the new Taylor bundle, you can check that out here. Okay, let's get this party started. We are going to put on some eyeshadow. It'll be fun. We're gonna play with these. They're, you know, basically neutrals with some pops of color, but I have enjoyed the quality thus far. So we're gonna do a demo. We're gonna play with the shades.
Play with the shades. So cool.
All right, so I'm gonna start with this shade right here. This is called Cocoa Cream. It is in the Fair bundle. There are multiple bundles. You can buy all of them. You can buy the Fair bundle, or you can buy the Deep bundle. Like I said, so these two come in the Fair, these two come in the Deep. I obviously got the entire one. So this is Cocoa Cream, and we're just gonna be dusting this in the crease area. The primer that I used is the Blink primer. I talked about it in my Get Ready With Me. And I don't usually use a primer, but because of the moisturizing, anti-aging properties, I'm willing to give this eye primer a shot. So I'm just going to dust this all over. This is good to blend out edges, this kind of shade. Yada yada. You guys know that I love these pinky movie kind of shades, so of course I will be playing with those. Now I'm gonna go into this one right here, pick up a little bit more. There's not a lot of like dust. I just wanted to, these aren't kicking up a lot of powder. There's like just a normal amount of powder that you would get from an eyeshadow. These are not uber dusty. So this is the shade Kissable in the Fair bundle. I'm gonna go kind of high with this because I want it to peep through. A lot of times I'm noticing lately that I lose the color that I put here. I just kind of lose it because I don't have a whole lot of space. So I'm just gonna be going a little bit higher than I normally do because I wanna keep that pink. And I'm just swishing it all over. I'm not pushing real hard on my brush. I'm just letting it do the work for me. And yeah, all over the place. Kind of building it up a little bit more. Sydney Grace eyeshadows are extremely pigmented. I mean, I always think Juvia's Place type pigments, you really get a lot of color. You don't have to dig around all crazy like, but I want to build this up because I want to keep that pink in the crease area. Nice and smooth, even with my crepey little lid space right here. I'm gonna dust in here in the corner because that's where I tend to grab shadow because of my crepey eyeball. Now I'm gonna deepen the crease just a bit by using Dusty Trails. It's this neutral brown right here. And I'm actually going to use a Wayne Goss because when you change brushes, it's gonna change how it picks up the pigment. Say this is still a natural type hair brush. It is gray squirrel, but this one, like goat hair, is gonna pick up more product. So I wanna lightly diffuse this to build up the crease. So I'm gonna use a Wayne Goss 6. So, you know, a synthetic brush, something like that would work. And I'm just deepening this up a little bit with this color. Really light in where I place it because I don't want this to turn all super brown on me. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I want to keep the pinks. And there the cat goes again. I always have to pay extra attention to this little spot right here because that's where I get my dryness. I like it. Now I'm switching brushes to this one, Adore Me, and I'm just gonna actually stamp that in the crease. Because I want this color to be pronounced. So I'm stamping it in and then I'll just blend the edges. I'm just gonna take a clean brush and kind of diffuse the edge. I'm gonna pick up some more of the original kind of pinky shade and just buff that right here. All right, we're gonna take it there and we're gonna deepen up a little bit more with this color. Same kind of technique, we'll just switch to a smaller brush. We're gonna use a Wayne Goss 20. And because of my semi-hood, I'm kind of tilting the brush up and stamping that in. And stamping that in. And I'm gonna go in with the same brush and I'll grab a little bit of this because that was the last color that I used. And I'm just gonna blend that edge. And it's not like crazy blend. I'm just, you know, kind of swirling a little, gently doing like boom, boom, boom. Not windshield wiper, but boom, boom. Like you're feathering out the edge. Anything that needs a little more, I'll take a little bit of a swirl, a round kind of, does that make sense? I'm gonna do a little bit in the outer V, but I kind of want to keep those things separated. So I'm gonna take this darky chocolatey color. I'll try to leave those things down below. And I'm just putting that in the outer V, and I'm trying not to really touch where I've created that crease, just kind of in it, but not like all up in it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm kind of dragging the lower lash line into the outer V, pulling slightly up. And same thing on this side. I'm pulling down to the lash line, kind of creating that shape. And then when I get to where the crease meets, I'm going up and out, but just underneath where I did all of that work. Like so much work. So I diffuse most onto the lash line and then work it up. So that way I have less product to worry about where it goes. I'll add a little bit more to this side. I think this would be fun to do a halo with, to do it on the inside too. I'm not going to, because I'd like to move through this. Now I'm going to take some of this darkest brown. It's like a deeper version of this one. And I'm really gonna keep it mostly to the lash line. And then when I feel like I have it kind of blended there, then I'll go up just ever so slightly. But I'm still getting that gradient. Again, right most of the product by the lash line. And then when I feel like a lot of it is off the brush, then connect a little. And then always checking to see, okay, are both sides pretty much even? You know, they don't look super crazy. I feel like this one is a little bit darker, so I'll add a little bit more product to this side. Okay, so I love this shade right here. I believe it's called Sun Poisoning, and it is like a shimmer, but I've noticed that Sydney Grace has another color like this called Princess Pepe, and it can be blended out like a matte, like a sheeny matte. So I'm gonna just play with that and put a little bit here. Same kind of technique, blending mostly onto the lash line and then upward. Could have skipped that step, but nice to see how the colors work together. You know, if you want to go mostly berry. Okay, and I'm going to add a little bit more of that deep. And now I'm going to take a clean brush, relatively, and this is one of the first shades that we used, and just kind of clear out any edges. All right, so I really like the shape overall, the coloring, it's a lot of fun. So now we're gonna work on the lids. I'm gonna try these first without foiling them. I've used these a couple times on my lids, and I don't always like to foil my eyeshadows. Sometimes it's nice just to have a wash of color. So I'm gonna pick up this pretty shade called Blondie, and it's in the Fair bundle. I think this is really pretty, and you can definitely foil them to amp them up. And I just want something light and soft. These are really smooth too. Not that I expected anything less, but you never know. And I'm just gonna take a brush and kind of scoop that downward so I'm keeping the crease. I think it would have been a lot of fun to cut the crease with this look, but I just wanted simple, soft, easy. How do these apply? Foiling shouldn't always have to be an option. This is from the deeper bundle, and it's called Spring Fling. I'll just put a little bit of that on. And And same thing, I'll just clean up again. And let's pop this one shade, this little shiny champagne-y looking frosty, and it's called Bailey's Bliss. And we'll pop her on the inner corner. This is a fun duochrome. I'm gonna connect this right here. And same thing, just run my brush so it connects smoothly instead of being like, oh, look at your inner corner highlight. All right, lower lash line. I'm gonna stick mostly to the browns. So I'll just come in with this one. Okay, so then we'll go a little deeper with this one. And I'm gonna stamp that deepest, darkest brown right next to the lash line. Taking a little bit of the blue, I just wanna see. I just decided to go with a navy liner. So I put that blue in there. All right, guys, that is it for testing all the shadows. I used every single matte and most of the shimmers. The only shimmers I have not used yet are these ones. These three I haven't used yet, but I feel like there's so many places you can go with this. Like that dark blue and that, you could just play for days. This is a look here where boom, 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 boom. I mean, there's a lot more than meets the eye to this collection, because I feel like when I first saw it, I was like, oh, it's neutrals. They are neutrals, but there are fun ways to play. Sometimes you can amp up the neutrals without, you know, being too crazy. Because I find inspiration in color, but I don't always want to look like a rainbow threw up on my eyelids. I don't know what's going on in there. Anyway, I'm going to put on some liner. Anyway.
Aslan, stop it!
I'm going to put on my falsies and then I'll be right back, because nobody wants to watch all that. So I popped on some lashes. These are the Ardell Faux Mink Wispies. I got them at my local Walgreens. I really enjoy them. They're very comfortable. I hope you guys enjoyed the demo and the swatches and the overall just colors of the new Sydney Grace Co. Taylor bundle. And thank you so much again for watching and spending time with me. You have so many choices to watch on YouTube, and anyone spending time on my channel, it's really appreciated. As always, we'll see you guys in the next video. Mwah! Bye!